When I was young, I was introduced to politics kind of casually, and at the time that I was vaguely introduced to politics, it was at a time of when that conservatives were using liberal as a bit of a pejorative. Now, going into the late 2010s and now up to like mid 2020s, we are starting to kind of get out of that phase to where that we understand liberalism as just or at least I am, anyways, trying to avoid using the term liberal to define leftists entirely in general. Sometimes I'll use the term left liberal, but even then, to refer to my opposition, I will refer to them as just leftists, more generally speaking, as I'm trying to truly understand classical liberalism and what it actually means, and not just understand liberal as just to be a term to refer to, leftists. And so, why do I bring this up? Well, it's because in recent weeks, maybe even months, even apparently the term of liberalism has been a bit of a hot topic of debate on some people on within the camp of people that would be advocating for what we could call as classical liberalism. Now, I of course define myself as a libertarian, but there are some other people who would say you're not a libertarian, you're a classical liberal or whatever. Doesn't matter. I mean, I'll kind of use those two as kind of interchangeably, but we can heckle over the definitions at some other time. But the point being, classical liberalism being understanding of egalitarian and equal rights. Equal rights recognized under the government. Let everybody is recognized as equal under the law, regardless of any arbitrary identity like race, sex, or anything else like that, or religion, or anything else like that. And also an advocacy for a I guess a sophisticated democracy, but even then, I have a problem with the term democracy, and more specifically, straight democracy. I more advocate for small r republicanism as opposed to straight democracy. But anyway, regardless. And so, who is it being debated by? The whole thing of classical liberalism and its roots. That would be by Sargon of Akkad. So how I've been hearing about this recently is Sargon of Akkad has been has been rethinking liberalism. For most of his time that he has been fairly known on the internet, engaging in politics, he has been referred to as a liberal. First, it was like a center-left liberal, then it was like a centrist liberal, then it was center-right liberal, and now I do not know of what he calls himself nowadays. Of course, I haven't been really following Sargon that closely. All I know is whatever that Sitch and Adam on their show they cover in regards of Sargon and his beliefs. I do know that sometime. Okay, microwave. That's my lunch right there. Um, I do know that sometime in 2022, I believe it was, yeah, 2022, that Sargon and Sitch and Adam, the Sargon had a debate against Sitch and Adam, kind of getting a little bit pedantic and everything about the term of liberalism, how he had a problem with liberalism, how it has its roots in a sort of a religious, more specifically Judeo-Christian belief of where that rights come from. I'll out the cat here. Um, and it's only gotten worse as far as Sargon having his skepticism about liberalism. Now, it's all right to be critical and point out some flaws with a certain philosophy, but I'm gonna get to my problem here in a little bit as we progress in this off the cuff video right here. Fast forward to closer to current day, Sargon gets in a heated debate over Twitter with James Lindsay, of where that Sargon says that communism is related to liberalism. I think is I'm paraphrasing. It's a rough quote. It might not be the exact wording, but regardless, same thing. Saying that communism and liberalism are related to each other. That there is basically a lot of overlap between the two beliefs right there. Lindsay was having problems with that. It got heated to where that Lindsay had blocked Sargon. And FYI, by the way, I'm not the biggest fan of James Lindsay. I don't really follow the guy that much. Of the people that I'm mentioning right now, I'm more of a fan of Sitch and Adam than anyone else I'm mentioning right here. But even then, I have my criticisms towards Sitch and Adam. But that issue aside, um, and so it eventually unfolds to where that Sitch and Adam decide to interview and discuss this whole thing with Sargon. And man, did I have a problem with that debate that Sitch and Adam had with Sargon. Throughout it all, the crux of the matter is that as to why that Sargon was saying that liberalism and communism are connected to each other is that liberalism promises equality. That's what Sargon is saying. Liberalism promises equality, and communism is a begrudging about how that liberalism hasn't lived up to that promise. And relating this to like class status and ownership and all that other stuff, that would be the communist view of equality, that you aren't truly equal unless you have like equal materialism or anything else like that. And as far as I know, Sargon is against communism still. He hasn't like gone from some liberal to communist pipeline, or hasn't fell down that as far as I know. Um, but at the same time, he's thinking that liberalism should be rejected, or at least he doesn't think that the idea of equal rights should be rejected, but he has a issue with liberalism as a whole philosophy and thinks that it should be rethought, at least, if not completely rejected, because of how that it is it shares supposedly one fundamental thing with communism, that being the idea of equality. Liberalism promises equality, communism is begrudged by how it doesn't live up to its promise, and so they actually fight for equality, more specifically, equality of economic status. And basically, I don't even think that it's like real equality that Sargon was thinking of. I think what he was thinking of was equity. The term equity. There's a little bit of ongoing debate as far as that goes. That communists like to conflate equity and equality with each other. Equity being everybody is equal status-wise, and the way that egalitarians, liberals, libertarians, and everyone else who is not a communist or socialist, or even a considerable like hard leftist at all, uses it or thinks of equality is that is like egalitarianism. That some people have a problem with the term egalitarianism, but this is a whole lot of a Sitch's law kind of subject here that I am going on about right here. But trying to get down to my point here, equality under the law is what we think of it. Not equality of outcome, aka equity, but equality, equal recognition under the law, and by all other like principles that we live up to, so forth. Nobody is unequal as far as rights, so forth. And Sitch and Adam, they were just absolutely failing to call out Sargon on this. Like Sargon, he somehow has gotten gaslit into the communist belief that equity and equality are the same thing. Though the term equity, funny thing about it is that the term equity was not brought up at any point during that debate live stream between those three. It was just so odd. Even though I think that ultimately that was what Sargon specifically was trying to get out was equity. He was thinking that liberalism is promising equity, essentially, if I was to put in different words. But the term equity wasn't brought up by anybody, not by Sitch, nor Adam, nor Sargon, but I could clearly understand what Sargon was thinking. He was thinking equity, and Sitch and Adam should have called it out when Sargon kept on going on about how, liberalism promises equality. Thinking that liberalism promises equality of outcome. Sitch and Adam should have been all like, no, that's equity. See, the liberal philosophers like Thomas Hobbes, and I think it was Thomas Hobbes and John Locke and everyone else like that, they were not thinking of equity. They were thinking of equality as an equal rights under the law, not equality as in equity of outcome. It would have been such an easy thing to say to Sargon. Yet Sitch and Adam, funnily enough, as supposed proud defenders of liberalism, they were not calling it out. And I think it was something that really should have been called out. And I really think that going forward, this is something that should be pinned down. Otherwise, you're going to end up having a whole bunch of, or maybe, I don't know. You're going to have a whole bunch of right-wingers who believe in equal rights or something that could fall under liberalism because of Sargon's thinking and everyone else in Sargon's camp. You're going to have a whole bunch of right-wingers and other people who believe in equal rights in the liberal sense split one of two ways. Either A, they're going to reject liberalism entirely and fall into some more extremist like right-wing belief of screw equal rights or representative government to the people or anything else like that. Arguments of government aside, anarchists. Or B, they'll become communists themselves because of this whole conflation of terms, this whole gaslighting that communists like to do to equate equity and equality with each other. And Sargon has fell for it, as is what I've witnessed in that debate. Anyway, before I get any much longer, that's all I have to say, really, is that we need to do something to put this to a stop before it gets any further, before it unwinds any more ridiculously, to where that's, like I said, you have right-wingers that either A, reject liberalism and equal rights entirely, or B, they become communists or socialists themselves because of this conflation of concepts within liberalism. Anyway, I am Zach, the Dark Conservatarian. Thank you all for listening to my monologue. Hope you all have a good one. Stay safe. Bye-bye.